Corinne hums along to the radio, while the vacuum growls across Leo's rug. She nudges the bed sideways to chase dust, revealing the loose floorboard Leo thinks she's never noticed. The board lifts with a sigh. Inside rests a marbled notebook banded by two rubber bands. Corinne smiles, picturing cartoon heroes or secret crushes, and slips it into her apron pocket, planning to tease him later over spaghetti. Downstairs, water simmers. The cat circles her ankles like a metronome. Corinne sets the diary on the windowsill, but a gust from the open door flips the cover. One line, jagged in smeared ink, catches her eye. Corinne's afraid, can't blame her. Her name, stark amid the scribbles, feels suddenly foreign, like discovering an extra door in a house she thought she knew. Curiosity wars with manners. She smooths the page instead of turning it, telling herself mothers respect boundaries. Yet the paper crackles, eager, and the kitchen clock ticks louder, counting down to Leo's return from the corner store. She stirs sauce, wipes counters, but the diary waits, spine bright as a warning light. Outside, dusk folds the street in lavender. Basketballs thump, sprinklers hiss. Everything looks ordinary, yet the sentence pulses in Corinne's peripheral vision, a pebble in a shoe she can't ignore. She rearranges the mail, feeds the cat, refolds towels, then freezes. Beneath her name, smaller, fresher ink reads, "If I leave tonight, maybe Dad stays away from her." The wooden spoon slips, clattering against the pot like an alarm. Corinne's gaze darts to the driveway, still empty, then to the diary's swollen middle, pages fat with untold days. Somewhere a car backfires. She flinches, heart sprinting. Sauce bubbles over, hissing against the burner, but she doesn't move, already calculating how many minutes until Leo should be home. The front door creaks open, footsteps pause on the mat. Corinne's hand hovers above the stove dial, but her eyes stay pinned to the cracked spine of the diary. The footsteps in the foyer are soft, almost apologetic, yet each thud strikes her sternum like a thrown stone. Leo's voice, thin, careful, calls, "Mom," and the syllable ricochets through the hallway like a rubber bullet. She cannot answer. The air has solidified around her lungs. He appears in the doorway, backpack dragging from one shoulder, fringe plastered to his forehead by autumn drizzle. One sleeve is rolled down past the knuckles, the other rides high, exposing a bracelet of purple fingerprints. Corinne sees it, truly sees it, and the kitchen bulb buzzes as though overloaded by the revelation. Leo follows her stare, yanks the denim cuff over the bruise, and offers a tremor of a smile that shatters her more cleanly than any punch could. The pot boils over again. Scalding water spits across the enamel, hissing like a nest of disturbed snakes. Neither of them moves. Corinne's lips part, but the only sound is the soft crackle of parchment as the diary shifts in her other hand, announcing its presence. Leo's gaze drops to the book, and every trace of color deserts his cheeks. His backpack slips to the tiles with a muted thud. For 3 heartbeats, they stand tethered by silence. Then Corinne's throat unlocks. "You wrote this." Each word trembles, a loose rail on a high bridge. Leo's shoulders fold inward. He becomes smaller, 12 going on 5. His nod is barely a motion, yet it detonates inside her chest. She flips, desperate, to the final entry, yesterday's date, the ink still damp enough to stain her thumb. The sentences swarm. "I have to leave before he comes back. She'll never send him away. It's my fault he hits her." A violent tremor grips Corinne's knees. The diary wavers like a torch in wind. Steam from the stove beads on her cheeks, mingling with tears she doesn't remember releasing. She inhales to speak, but Leo's voice slices through first, raw, terrified. "I was gonna go tonight." The clock above them ticks once, loud, final, and the kitchen bulb flickers, plunging the room into a half-second of darkness just long enough for her to imagine the shape of his absence. Corinne's sedan skids away from the curb, headlights carving frantic tunnels through the dusk. The diary rides shotgun, pages fluttering each time she takes a corner too fast, as though the paper itself wants to leap out and search alongside her. She tries to phone Leo. Straight to voicemail, the same 3 notes of greeting that once sounded cheerful now chillingly polite. Downtown blurs, gas station, library, skate park. Every location she can remember meaning something to a 12-year-old who learned early how to be invisible. None of them offer a silhouette. At a red light she flips the notebook open again, flashlight gripped between her teeth. Earlier entries parade in miniature ink. Dad pushed Mom against the wall. I said it was the dog. I packed a bag in case he comes back drunk. Every sentence is a breadcrumb she refused to see, busy rewriting reality with excuses and overtime shifts. Guilt floods her throat, thick as wet cement. She swallows, accelerates. The last stop is the edge of Old Pine Road, where suburbia surrenders to undeveloped woods. She kills the engine, hears nothing but her own pulse and the creak of cooling metal. Moonlight drips through the canopy, pooling on the trail that leads to the treehouse, Leo's aviation fortress, now a boarded relic. Corinne's heels sink into damp needles. Mosquitoes orbit like tiny courtroom judges. Halfway up the rope ladder her palms burn, but she climbs, remembering how she once boosted him to the lowest branch, laughing at gravity. She never asked what he did up here alone. Inside, model airplanes hang from rafters, wings trembling in the draft. A single candle stubs out on a crate, wax still warm. Leo huddles in the corner, knees drawn up, diary pressed to his chest as though its covers might armor him from the world. His eyes hold the hollow sheen of someone who has already said goodbye. When he sees her, he doesn't flee. Instead, his shoulders fold forward, surrendering to shame louder than any scream. Corinne drops to the plywood floor, splinters biting her legs. She reaches, not grabbing, simply opening her arms like a gate he can choose to enter. A breeze rattles the tree. Loose pages slip from the diary, swirling around them like fragile treaties. One lands on her wrist, today's date, tomorrow's desperation. Leo's whisper barely disturbs the candlelight. "If I stay, he'll hurt you worse." Karen's reply is a cracked sob, promise and apology braided together. She draws him close, heartbeat hammering against his bird-thin ribs, and for the first time since the first slammed door, neither of them invents an excuse. Footfalls echo below, heavy, adult, deliberate. The boards beneath the treehouse groan a second time, louder, as if the night itself has gained weight. Corinne's breath stalls. Below, the measured tread stops. A metallic click, the safety of a belt buckle or something worse, cuts through Cricket's song. She clamps Leo to her side, one palm sealing the diary shut, the other smothering his gasp. Moonlight stripes the single window, shadows not like rope. From the ground, a man's voice, slurred but certain, floats up. "Corinne, I know you're up there with the boy." No question, only inventory. Leo's eyes, glassy with recent tears, snap wider. In them, Corinne reads the final entry again, every word now branded. "If I disappear, Dad will stop coming back." She feels the paper flutter against her wrist, pages trying to flee. The wind obeys no one. Footsteps resume, 1, 2, then the wooden ladder gives a warning rattle. Corinne counts rungs, 7 until the hatch. She sweeps the candle, still warm, into her pocket, wax kissing her fingers like a brand. Time fractures into heartbeats. She mouths to Leo, "Window." He shakes his head, points to the corner where balsa wings and glue bottles huddle like orphaned chicks. Behind them, a loose plank, escape route invented by a boy who always planned exits he prayed he'd never need. Below, the climber pauses, listening. Corinne lowers her weight onto the plank. It sighs but holds. She pries it free, revealing a cavity just wide enough for slender shoulders. Cool night air rushes in, carrying the sour smell of lake mud and distant diesel. Leo slips through first, knees scraping, diary clutched to chest. Karen follows, belly against splintered pine, dress snagging on a nail, the sound a gunshot in miniature. The latter protests again. A gloved hand, pale and massive, curls over the threshold. From the roof branch Leo once used as a runway, mother and son dangle, silhouettes cut from black paper. They shuffle sideways, twigs whipping cheeks, until the trunk swallows them. Below, the treehouse light flicks on, yellow and accusing. Inside, pages rustle, someone turning the story backward, hunting evidence. Karen steadies her shoe on a lower limb. Bark crumbles, falls like breadcrumbs. Leo's free hand finds hers, fingers spelling the same two words, "Don't stop." A torch beam slices leaves above their heads. Moths ignite like sparks. The man's voice, closer now, softer, almost wounded. "Leo, you left the door open, son." Chapter 5, The White Flag. Karen freezes mid-climb, one hand clutching the splintered rung, the other wrapped around Leo's trembling fingers. The voice below, soft, familiar, dangerous, curls up through the dark like smoke. She doesn't answer. Leo doesn't breathe. Even the wind stills. The ladder bows under new weight. Karen's instincts shatter the silence. She yanks Leo up the final rung, into the treehouse. Moonlight floods through the cracked window, illuminating dust motes and the skeletons of forgotten model planes. Leo stumbles to the corner, hugging his diary like armor. Karen slams the hatch shut, heart hammering. "Leo," the voice calls again, closer now. "I just want to talk." Karen's breath hitches. She knows that tone, half plea, half threat. She's heard it before, in kitchens and hallways, and once, long ago, in a hospital corridor. She backs away from the hatch, arms outstretched, shielding Leo. Then the hatch lifts. A hand, broad, bruised, familiar, slides through the gap. Karen lunges, slams it down with her full weight. But the hand retreats. For a moment, only the crickets speak. The treehouse sways slightly, as if the whole world is listening. Inside, Leo's voice cracks. "He's not going to stop." Karen turns. Her son's face is pale, streaked with tears and moonlight. He holds out the diary. "I shouldn't have." "No," Karen's voice is hoarse but certain. She kneels, takes the diary gently. "This isn't your fault." Leo shakes his head. "If I disappear, he won't hurt you anymore." "I thought if I left." "Stop." Karen's hands tremble as she flips to the last page. The final entry, scrawled in a child's rushed handwriting, burns into her like a brand. It's the only way she'll be safe. Her knees buckle. She clutches the diary to her chest, eyes squeezed shut. "I didn't know," she whispers. "I didn't want to know." Leo's voice is barely audible. "You were scared." "I was a coward." The treehouse creaks again, this time from within. Karen opens her eyes. Leo is inches away, tears streaming. She reaches for him, and this time he doesn't flinch. They collapse together, mother and son, beneath the drifting dust and broken dreams. Outside, a twig snaps. Karen pulls back, just enough to look Leo in the eye. "We're not running anymore." She flips the diary open, tears out the last page and holds it up. In the moonlight, the words blur, but the message is clear. Then she opens the hatch. Below, the yard is empty. But the shadow beneath the tree is too still, too deep. Karen steps down first, Leo close behind. The diary stays behind, pages fluttering like white flags in the night breeze. As they descend, the shadow moves. And a voice, low and calm, says, "You should have closed the door, Karen." The porch light slices across the yard, catching the edge of a man Karen prayed she would never see again. Richard steps out of the darkness, jacket half-zipped, eyes pinned on the treehouse ladder. He doesn't shout. He never needed volume to dominate a room. Corinne's throat locks. Leo freezes 2 rungs above her, sneaker squealing against metal. Richard's gaze flicks to the diary Corinne left on the platform. "Family secrets belong at home," he murmurs, lifting a hand that once split her lip with the same casual grace. "Bring the boy." Corinne shifts sideways, blocking the ladder. "Police are on their way." It's a bluff, but her voice holds. Leo scrambles down, pressing against her spine, trembling like the diary pages still flapping overhead. Richard smiles, measuring the distance between them with a tilt of his head. "You'll hang up when you hear what I've got on tape, sweetheart." He taps his phone. "Your little confession about covering bruises, keeping quiet, social services will love that." Corinne feels Leo's gasp more than hears it. She senses neighbors' curtains twitch, the street silent enough to hear her pulse. For the first time she understands silence was never safety. It was ammunition, loaded and waiting. She raises her own phone, thumb hovering over the emergency call button she should have pressed years ago. "You're done scaring him," she states, surprised at the iron in her tone. "Step back." Richard's calm fractures, knuckles whiten around his device. "You're making this worse, Corinne." Behind her, Leo whispers, "Mom, the sirens." It's hopeful imagination, but she leans into the illusion, stepping forward instead of retreating. Richard hesitates, uncertain for the first time since he shattered their family. The porch bulb flickers, throwing his shadow across the grass like a net. Somewhere inside the house, a phone begins to vibrate unanswered. Then the gate creaks open on its own, and footsteps enter the yard.